Tanner and Jesse are back. We're scouting the path. Tanner, how are you today?
Good. How are you, Jesse?
Good. Thanks for coming on.
I think the Timberwolves are scouting the path to the finals.
It really feels that way. It
Yeah,
does. They hung with OKC really well during the regular season. So hopefully hopefully they can show out here in the playoffs. Um,
I don't see that series going less than six.
right.
I think it'll be good.
Yeah, when you think about it, like can either one of those teams be beat four times in 7 games? It's kind of hard to imagine.
Right.
There's so many different pieces on each team. So many different pieces can go off. It's going to be
Yep.
a really fun series.
It is.
And I'm hoping maybe the playoff experience that OKC doesn't have is the reason why maybe the Wolves push past.
Mm,
Should I make my call right now?
Sure.
I've done Wolves in 5 for the first two, and I was right. I didn't see the Curry thing happening. I don't think it would have gone 5 if Curry would have stayed healthy. Now that I look
Yeah.
at the series, but I'm gonna say Wolves in 6. I got Wolves in
That's a good.
6.
But yeah, I can get that. I can buy into that.
The reason for it is the Wolves can match up with OKC any way they want to play. Whether Hartenstein's on the floor with Gobert, or if they try to go small, Gobert has showed in these last two series that he can play small just because of the really good perimeter defense that the rest of the wings play. In
Mhm.
Utah, when Rudy was struggling, it was Donovan Mitchell, Joe Ingles were not good perimeter defenders, and that's why Rudy got exposed. And also, the Wolves can play small. So, you watched the game on Wednesday. You watched a little bit of it. You told me.
Yeah, I did.
I want your opinion.
I'm a big fan of Edwards.
He's
I'm starting to. I understand the Michael Jordan comp now.
yeah, it's fun
He's
to
he's
watch.
awesome. Yeah, he is.
He tell me if you know this name. When he was coming out of college, his comparison coming out of college was Dion Waiters. Are you
That name
familiar with a
sounds
Dion
familiar.
Waiters?
It sounds familiar, but
He
I
was
don't.
like the fourth pick in the mid 2000s, and he never he was supposed to be a pretty decent shooting guard, and just the career never came around. So that
Who
was
was he
that was
drafted
Edwards'
by?
comp coming out of the draft was Dion Waiters, #1 pick.
Who was he drafted by?
I think it was Cleveland.
Cleveland.
It
Hmm.
was either Cleveland or Miami. He played at both of those teams, but I forget which team. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it was Cleveland, and that was after LeBron had left to
Okay.
Miami. So, but yeah, it's kind of amazing when you look at players coming out of drafts and the way that you project them and what they actually turn out to be, especially in the NBA. And you look
Oh
at
yeah.
Zion Williamson, for instance, who can go off any night, but his ceiling was so much higher. So,
Right.
but I think overall, I think Wolves in 6. I think Randle continues his season, his postseason that's been so incredible, and I'm really rooting for a Knicks Wolves finals.
I am too. I'd like to see the Knicks. I mean, I
With
like what the Pacers are doing, but I think seeing the Knicks in the finals
I I
would be cool.
honestly I do think the Pacers are going to take them, and the
Really?
pace as a Wolves fan, I would rather play the Knicks than the Pacers. Honestly, when the Wolves played the Pacers this year, the
Yeah.
Pacers' pace, no pun intended, is so much quicker than the Wolves
Right.
can handle. They play in transition like crazy. They're a really fun team. And here's
Yeah.
one more thing I'm gonna throw out there before we go to my question about the Pirates with you. The last three, I think it's the last three of the four teams remaining have a player that's their main player that they didn't draft and they acquired in a trade for somebody that was more significant. The first team is the team that the Wolves are playing OKC. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander came from the Clippers for Paul George and like 6 first-round picks. Think about that. The MVP of the league ended up going to OKC for Paul George and 6 first-round picks.
That's great.
That's crazy. All right, next is the Knicks. Jalen Brunson was a Maverick.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic on the same team? That would have been so fun. And
That
then
is good.
the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton was acquired from the Kings. And Tyrese
Really?
Halliburton was like an 11th pick. And then their second player, Pascal Siakam, they got him from the Raptors last season at the deadline. So the three of these four teams signed or traded for players that weren't the main staple of the league. Your LeBrons, your Giannis's, your Doncic's, all those guys that put up the 30-10s and they get
Yeah.
all the glory. Those are not the teams that are competing in the NBA, and it's really exciting because I think for the first time for me as a fan, it's really a competitive league again.
Mm.
It feels wide open. For a long time, it felt like, oh, it's going to be the Warriors, or it's going to be the Spurs, or it's just going to be LeBron. There was there
It
was
is
there
nice
was
to see.
three. Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
No,
It's
you're
nice
good.
to see different teams in the finals.
Yeah.
Because I remember like a couple years ago it was Warriors, Cavs, Warriors, Cavs, Warriors, Cavs.
Yeah,
But
and their series weren't even competitive leading
no,
up to the finals. So,
yeah,
and every other team that you watch, you just knew that they were going to get beat by the Warriors or the Cavs, so
yeah,
or the
except
Heat.
for 16. But
Yep.
other than
Yep.
that, like the other ones, the Warriors just
This is
ran
crazy.
up on them.
All right. Give me your Pirates update right now. How'd the week go?
Well, we played three against the Mets, three against the Phillies. We went 1-5 in those games. Um, I want to say Don Kelly got ejected again. Still like that guy. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But yesterday, Skenes pitched 8 innings. They called it a complete game, which I didn't know 8 innings could be considered a complete game. I
If
guess,
uh if they don't pit if technically the ninth doesn't happen, yeah.
yeah. So I guess that's true. But he pitched a 8 inning complete game, 3 hits, 1 run, and we lost 1-0.
Oh my goodness.
I
Who
think
who was he pitching against? Do you remember?
Nick Abel in his major league debut for the Phillies.
Are you kidding
Um,
me?
mm-mm.
He's a high-end prospect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was good. But what was I gonna say? I believe it was 23 straight games. We've scored 4 less runs.
Wow.
So we've never had like 5 runs in the last like couple weeks.
Wow.
So, and I looked at the stat yesterday. I saw that the Pirates are the lowest scoring team in the major leagues, and I thought, oh, the Rockies. They got to be the Rockies, right? They have like what 8 wins,
Yeah.
and we had less runs scored than they did, and they played 2 less games. I'm like,
Oh my goodness gracious. You're going through it right now. I can see it.
mhm. It's tough.
Well, that brings me to my next question, what I kind of teased earlier. I think Jeff Passan posted on Twitter, or not maybe Jeff Passan, but maybe like Jeff Passan from a podcast, maybe, or
Yeah.
something where Passan was saying Skeens gets traded. And normally when the media throws out names of small market teams that have generational players, this by the way, this is a completely normal thing that you're going through, Tanner. I had to listen to Anthony Edwards getting traded for the last 2 summers through the national media of, oh, he's going to have to go to LA or New York. So appropriately, I did put Los Angeles and New York teams on this list, but I put together 6 trade packages for you, and we'll break down each one by one. I have one that I think that you're going to go for, but I'm not going to say it until you pick a team. So let's say today Tanner is GM of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Tanner is going to make a trade for Paul Skenes.
It's hard for me to budge on this guy, so I'll see what you got.
You got to take one. You just have to take one.
I
But
have to.
you
Do I
got
have to?
you just have to pick the best one. How about that? Pick the best
Okay.
one. If you want to
Okay.
counter offer with a compensation pick or player to be named later, I'll allow a player to be named later. That's fine. All right. First offer, Texas Rangers are on the phone. Texas Rangers are offering Evan Carter, Jack Leader, Justin Foscue, who's a infielder, MLB ready bat, and Brock Porter, who's a top 100 teenage arm. Let me give you the write up on why it works.
Okay.
This write up here is from AI. Ask AI if this works. Why this works? Carter gives Pittsburgh a controllable all-star caliber outfielder. Leader and Porter help replace the pitching upside, and Foscue adds roster flexibility.
So basically, the only two guys right now that are in the majors. Well, is Carter in the MLB right now, or is he in AAA?
Carter plays. I'm pretty sure he plays left field already, and he's a good bat.
Yeah, and
MLB The
life.
Show franchise, he always bats 350. Like 6 years later. I'll
I
let
don't know, man.
I'll let you chew on that one. I'll let you chew on that one. We'll go to the next one.
Probably, I'd have to turn it down.
All right. Do you play any MLB Show, by the way?
I do every now and
Okay.
then. I play some.
You might know this name from Show then. Chicago Cubs are on the phone. Chicago Cubs are offering you Pete Crow Armstrong. You hate that. Cade Horton, who's a top 20 prospect. Matt Shaw. Cade Horton's a right-handed pitcher, by the way. And then Kelvin Alcantara. Why this works? This is a Cubs system unload. Horton and PCA are big league close and project as plus value assets. Shaw and Alcantara offer massive ceiling.
Trading Skenes in the division just doesn't sit well with me.
Okay, we're out on the Cubs. Make
Pete Crow is just a hard name to pass. He's a
okay.
stud.
He MLB Show 99 speed and everybody bunts with him online all the time.
Really?
Yeah, that's why I thought maybe you would. That's like kind of he's like a famous MLB Show player for that because it like works like 60% of the time.
Mine was I used Jackie Robinson and D Gordon.
Okay, okay,
Was
those
23, my Diamond Dynasty team. Oh, I love fun with those guys.
All right, New York Yankees give you a call. You knew this one was coming, I'm sure. All right, New York Yankees give you a call and they're offering you Jason Dominguez, Spencer Jones,
Hmm.
Chase Hampton, and Clark Schmidt. Why it works? Dominguez is the headliner with Jones right behind. Add in two arms, and this kind of overpay might let the Yankees fans dream. So this right here, what do you think of this deal compared to? We're gonna forget about that Cubs deal because you didn't like it. Between Texas Rangers and Yankees. Rangers again had Evan Carter, Jack Leader, Fosco, Brock Porter, and then Yankees, Jason Dominguez, Spencer Jones, who by the way is 6'6", Chase Hampton, and Clark Schmidt.
Out of the first three, that'd probably be the best one. But knowing myself, I would probably still decline it.
I'm really happy that you said that because I don't want the Yankees having Paul Skenes.
Yeah.
So,
I like I said, I probably would decline all of these unless you just blow me away with
well,
one of
I
them.
haven't given you the one yet. If that gives you a hint,
Okay.
the one that I think
All
you
right.
would take.
But out of the first three, I think that's the most enticing.
Okay. Los Angeles Dodgers are on the phone. Dodgers are saying we can pay this guy 50 million a year. That's no problem. 60, 70, whatever it takes. They're offering you, and I don't like this deal, by the way. But I shouldn't. Okay, I just gave away what my pick was. Bobby Miller, Dalton Rushing, the catcher, Michael Bush, and who's a breakout 2025 BAP, and then Josue De Paula, high upside teenage slugger, top 10 in their system.
Uh,
Bobby Miller's numbers this year are and last
yeah.
year are actually atrocious. So
Yeah.
I think the velocity is the only thing that's getting Bobby Miller any love.
Right.
All right, here we go. Baltimore Orioles give you a call, and they're offering you Jackson Holiday,
Cool.
Grayson Rodriguez, Heston Kjerstad, and Kobe Mayo.
That one, that's definitely the best so far.
Yep,
I think personally.
and that's the one that I also Jackson Holiday on the Pirates might be kind of fun. The team needs pitching.
Read the names again.
Sure. Jackson Holiday. I gotta find it here. Grayson Rodriguez, Heston Kjerstad, and Kobe Mayo. Grayson Rodriguez is no slouch either, by the way.
Mhm.
Grayson Rodriguez has that 98, 99 mile per hour velocity. His numbers aren't too great this year, but he's like 22 years old.
They've all made it to the big league, right? All four of them.
Yeah, yeah, all four of them are big league. They would be on the Pirates starter the next day. Every single one of them would start for the Pirates the next day. Assuming Grayson Rodriguez is on 5 days rest.
That one I'm legit considering.
Okay. Well, I got
'Cause-
one more.
all right.
Seattle Mariners are giving you a call. Seattle Mariners are offering you George Kirby, Harry Ford, who's a top 30 catching prospect, Cole Young, who's a top 50 shortstop prospect, and then Emerson Hancock, who's a right-handed pitcher for that team.
Probably not. I feel like out of any of the deals, the most interesting one would be Baltimore.
Now, are are you just more blinded by the shiny lights of Jackson Holiday in this deal? Or do you really believe Jackson Holiday is going to be
I think he'll be good. And but like bringing in the three other guys that you mentioned, I think that's a good, decent return for
right?
Skenes. But if I was the Pirates at this stage, I would just be trying to re-sign him like now, or not re-sign him, but get him a long-term deal, or at least like get it through like his age 29, 30 season, lock him up. That way you have something, a piece you can build around for how many years? Because they
Yeah,
have a lot of young guys in the minors that are coming up.
they do. They do. And this again is driven by national media
Mm-hmm.
just trying to get the best player in the league either talked about around national outlets or for a topic during a part of the season that maybe isn't as interesting maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But this is kind of part of the challenge it is as small market fans is dealing once you finally get that player that you've been waiting for your whole life. Now national media starts talking about them going. Um, Pittsburgh Pirates, I just pulled this up. Total payroll commitment right now is 76 million. Do you think that they would be willing to essentially they would probably have to pay another, probably 70 million to Paul Skenes just seeing what Otani got. You when has Pirates payroll ever been at 140?
I don't know what the highest it's ever been, but like I feel like getting a guy like Paul, you almost would have to just find some way to add more to the payroll. Because like me personally, I don't know how you can just let a guy like that go. Because a guy like Paul Skenes, like a frontline starter,
Hmm.
isn't like getting comparisons to like the Grom, Verlander, Scherzer.
Yeah.
You just don't see it that often.
No, definitely. And an ace like that is once in a generation.
Mm.
Highest payroll ever was 2016, 106 million. So it it'll be interesting. It's funny that they're already talking about paying him because he still has like 4 years of team control left, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So the fact that this is even being stirred up is kind of funny because I'm pretty sure baseball players it works a lot different when you have arbitration where he's just not gonna not show up to spring training until he gets paid.
Yeah. I don't see him being that kind of a guy.
I don't think I've ever heard of a baseball player ever doing that. Have you?
Yeah.
No. So I don't think that he would be the first. So I think what to talk you off the ledge a little bit, I think all of this in the national media is just them stirring up talking topics. I don't think that this is
Yeah.
actually going to happen. But the Orioles offer is interesting.
It is.
So,
Speaking of the Orioles, what is up with them? They got rid of Hyde. They're like 15 and 30 or something like that. I had no idea.
yeah, they're going through it.
Mhm.
They were, they were 6 wins part of the 13 game win streak for the Twins was the Orioles.
Wow.
And they couldn't score runs to save their life. And they can't
Well,
pitch, which is so odd because I think they won 100 games last year.
that or the year before, but yeah, the last year they were still good.
Yeah. Yeah,
They
Corbin
lost.
Burns went to
Uh,
Arizona. So
oh yeah,
they
they
lost some
lost to
pieces.
Kansas City in the was it wild card?
I
Yeah,
think
wild card.
I think it was. It's all been downhill since then.
Mm.
So, but my twins had their win streak snap last night, so all good things have to come to an end. Um, Overall, I have to say I'm happy with the team. I I've been disappointed for the first month and a half, but it seems like things are coming together. And of course, Correa and Buxton collide in center field, and They're both on the 7-day IL with concussion protocol. So, but my guy McCusker got called up.
I saw that.
Yep, yep.
Did he get his first hit, or was it he just had like a pinch hit appearance or something?
Pinch hit appearance. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm very high on him, and I'm hoping he gets some time, not just sitting on the bench. I can't wait to watch him play. So
Plan on going to any games this year?
yeah, yeah. I'll probably be, I don't know, at quite a few. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I I thinking about going in a couple weeks from now when I have a little bit of free time. I've just been kind of busy lately, but I'm having to watch recordings.
I think the Pirates are there this year.
Are
The
they?
way the schedule is now. Yeah, because the Minnesota came to us last year. Um,
Okay.
checking the schedule.
Yeah. Might be a reason for you to make a road trip.
July 11th, 12th, and 13th.
There
That's right before my birthday.
there it is. Yeah. Come on out.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Get to watch Pablo Lopez pitch.
Hey, if Skenes was pitching, I'd be considering.
I think a Joe Ryan Paul Skenes matchup would be fun.
Oh, that would be awesome.
My friend who is a big Twins fan isn't very high on Joe Ryan and hasn't been.
Yeah.
And I was saying Joe Ryan's the ace this season. So he does have a good argument. Joe Ryan throws his fastball 60% of the time, and starters throwing one pitch that much, it shouldn't work, but it for some reason it works. And
Yeah.
I think on one of the broadcasts that I was watching, they were talking about the release points the lowest in the league for a starter. So when he comes in, he like slots almost sidearm, so it looks like the ball is traveling up instead of down.
Uh,
So his movement is always
hmm.
is up instead of down on the fastball, which is really weird. So there's a reason why he throws it that much, obviously.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
Plus, back to Minnesota, I heard nothing but good things about their ballpark.
Nothing but good things about Target Field.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
is it? What would you rate it?
So I I have very nostalgic feelings about the Metrodome,
Okay, I can understand.
and I loved the Metrodome, and it was time. I agree, it was time, but man, that place was sweet.
That's it. Yeah.
But Target Field is a beautiful ballpark. Um, there the overall fan experience has gotten really, really good over the last couple of years. I will say that. Um, the first couple of years that you went, it didn't seem very interactive.
Mhm.
But now the last few times that I've went over these last couple of years, it's been very interactive, and there's a lot of things for kids to do. I bring my son with, and
Hmm.
so we had a lot. When I brought my son with, we had a lot of fun. I will say that. Price is a little steep, I have to say. A beer is
So it is.
$15.
That's
For,
how it is in Pittsburgh.
okay. Well, I think I would hope the MLB will work on that somehow.
I
Like,
think they charge more at Pirate games than they do Steeler games for a beer.
really?
Yeah. But back to you were talking about the nostalgia from the Metrodome.
Yeah.
I had that with the Igloo in Pittsburgh, the Civic Arena from the Penguins.
Okay. Do they have a new arena now?
Yeah, PPG.
Okay.
It's nice. It's very nice though. I like it. But
Right.
I went there. I went there once when I was like 9 or 10. I saw Crosby and Ovechkin in the
Ooh,
Igloo, dude.
fun.
Yeah, we lost that game, but it was so much fun when I was like, that was my first Penguin game.
Those were those two players right there. Those were the guys in the
They were
league.
like my age when I went. They were like mid 20s. They were in their prime. It was.
Yes.
I didn't. I wish I would have appreciated it more when I was, 10 years old. But
Right, right.
yeah,
But now you get to watch Paul Skenes pitch, so at least you got that.
I was at his debut, man. That was definitely cool.
That's very cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
You got anything else for today?
not a whole lot. Do you have anything else? I mean, I really hope that the Pirates can find a way to get on a streak because typically in the years past they've started out hot in April
Yeah,
and then just fizzled out the rest of the season. But now this year they're starting out really cold,
right.
so maybe there's a chance like they'll get hot. But look at the
Base
Twins.
baseball is a game of averages.
If the
It
Twins
just
can do it, why can't we?
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
And you know, Um, I always think about it even when I watch basketball. If a team is 0 for 10 to start a game, they're probably going to make the next 7 of 10 shots. Just law of averages, right? So
Yep.
I don't have it in front of me, but what is the Pirates expected win loss? Do you
Oh, I
have
have
that stat? Yeah, let me look it up quick just to see because that was the
just
one encouraging thing about the Twins. They were like 5 games over expected wins when they were so when they were 18 and 23, the expected wins were actually 23 and 18.
hmm,
And then they went on the run. So let's see here, Pittsburgh. So 15 and 32, expected 16 and 31. So they're 1 game better than what their record indicates, or 1 game worse than what their record indicates. But you have to remember too. I mean, you're in a tough division. You got St. Louis,
it's getting
Chicago.
tough. Chicago's been good.
You got Ellie De La Cruz in Cincinnati. That's a fun ball player.
We play them tonight.
Do you? Would you trade Ellie De La Cruz for Paul Skenes and some additional capital?
No,
No,
we
you're
got
not.
O'Neal.
You're not an Ellie De La Cruz guy.
I am. He's really fun to watch, but I can't give up Skenes. Giving up Skenes to a division rival to me would just no.
Would you take Jackson Holiday over Ellie De La Cruz?
I would take the Orioles trade package over.
Well, I didn't put together a Cincinnati trade package for you, but they wouldn't trade for him. So, and it would probably, like you
Yeah.
said, it would have to be a higher ticket if it's in the division.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure you would agree. Like if you were to trade, who's one guy that's the Twins' main guy? Like if you were to trade,
Mm,
Buxton,
I, I
I
vouched for
guess.
Buxton to be traded earlier this year. So,
Uh,
um, let's see here. I I I didn't say that they should trade him. I'm just saying that the value is the highest it's ever been, and he should cash
yeah,
in on it.
right, right.
I'm a big trade guy. Like if I was in Pittsburgh right now, I would be going, and this is why I brought it to you. I would be going through all the trade packages, and
Yeah,
I
I'm
like I
glad. Listen,
when Johan Santana was going to be dealt, and I was at like 12 or 13. I'd be on MLB trade rumors all the time, looking at
yeah,
different packages, and there was a package for John Lester and Jacoby Ellsbury. There was a package for Jabba Chamberlain and Phil Hughes from the Yanks, and then you had of course, they took the Mets deal, which was Carlos Gomez, and I think it was Drew Butera and Phil Humber, which didn't really turn out. But the fleecing was that the Twins made was they traded AJ Pierzynski for Joe Nathan, Francisco Liriano, and Boof Bonser. That was the best trade that the Twins ever made in my lifetime. So
what was the year that Liriano went like nuts?
like
Oh seven,
oh
oh
06 before the
six.
Tommy John. Yeah. Yeah, unhittable. That was a guy I would go see live. That
Yeah.
was probably the equivalent of the Paul Skenes because you couldn't score more than 1 run against him. And it was just
Mm,
in that time when 96 was coming over the plate from a lefty, especially, and the slider was 91, 92. It
mm.
was that Tommy John. Obviously, he was tearing apart his arm because he was never the same after that Tommy John. The
Right.
slider wasn't the same.
One series that I'm eyeing up this year is I think it's later in July. We play the Tigers. I'd like to see if we could get a Scooble.
Oh,
I'd like to watch him.
yeah, yeah, that'd be a fun matchup. All right,
Mm.
Tarek Skubal for Paul Skenes.
Oh man,
That's a good deal. Straight up.
I'd have to get something else in return.
Really? You need something more than just Tarek Skubal?
Yes.
Wow. I wouldn't like you for that deal because Paul Skenes would be in my division then.
See.
All right, let me put together a Twins offer for you quick, just off the top of my
Oh
head.
boy. Oh, Jesse.
All right, I'm gonna give you for Paul Skenes. I will give you Walker Jenkins, um,
Custer.
Roy, or I'll throw in McCusker, Royce Lewis. I'll do Royce Lewis, Walker Jenkins, and Carson McCusker for you.
I need a pitcher.
I'll send you Chris Paddock.
I'll think about it.
Player to be named later, and it's done.
Yeah. Yeah. Then
That you know what when I did my survey for the class, I think that would have been fun if we would just thrown around some trade packages.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure Daniel would have got a kick out of that.
Yeah, it would have been kind of fun, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you said Skenes to the Twins?
Yeah. How dare you? Yeah. All right, man. Well, we're gonna do this again soon. It's North
Yep.
Star Sports Media. Like, subscribe, comment.
Thanks for having me on, Jesse.
Of course, we'll do it again soon.
Take care, everyone.